Welcome all to the Simply Living podcast. I'm Anant Mundra and I'm super excited today with a new esteemed guest in our podcast. Let me introduce Dr. Shilpa Agarwal, who is an integrated clinical hypnotherapist, mind transformational specialist, founder of Yes I Care. She works on empowering mental health issues, powering the subconscious mind, and helping people achieve emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual well being.
Thank you, Anant.
Thank you. Welcome, ma'am, to the podcast.
Thank you so much. And a very good evening to all my viewers and listeners. So, Anant,
Yeah.
I hope this evening brings you a lot of positive mindset along with
Yes.
this podcast. Thank you. Yes, Anant.
Good vibes only.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, let's start with some questions. Firstly, I would like to ask you the question can you please tell the audience about yourself?
Sure. So, what I usually say is a focused mind is one of the biggest virtues of human. That's the difference between a human and anybody else. So, I love introducing myself so that I'm a integrated clinical hypnotherapist and working in the field of mental health since the past 17 plus years. A lot of people have been suffering with mental health issues, so people of all age groups I have been working, and this brings me into a lot of insight on how psychological psychosomatic diseases, how phasal or developmental issues with the mind happen. So Anant, I have had a wide history till now. I must have done regression sessions more so over around 18 to 19,000 sessions, and on a daily basis I am working with a lot of minds. Thank you, Anant.
Yeah. Ma'am, as per you, how serious is the mental health problem and your experience in it?
So, Anant, I have realized one thing, that the physical health issues can still be taken care of, but mental health issues are fatal. That is, I use this very good metaphor which all of us must understand. How did we ever know that we are living? How did you ever know that you are living? When you were born, it's a question to you, Anant. How did you ever know that you are living?
Because I'm breathing.
Breathing, awesome. So the first breath itself is called life, and the first breath is the trigger to the mind. That means mental health is as vital as breathing.
Oh.
If you can breathe free, if you're mentally happy and positive, that means you're living. Otherwise, when patients come to me, they say is like, we haven't felt that we have lived over the years or the months where mental health issues happen. So I hope that answers your question well.
Definitely. Shilpa ma'am, what do you think is the major requisite for living a meaningful and fulfilling life for all ages?
Okay, wonderful question, Anant, because a meaningful life, the word meaningful means purposeful, right?
Yeah.
If I and you have to live a purposeful life, the first thing is we have to have the power to fulfill that purpose. It starts with a little metaphor. I have to travel from point A to point B. And if I want to travel, I must have the power to travel, I must have the resources to travel. And third is, I must have the purpose to travel. So I would add these two things together, saying that the prerequisite for a meaningful life is one, you must have a meaning.
Yeah.
Okay, that is, you must have a purpose to live. And second is, you must have the power to live. This power, what I speak, folks, is about mind power. That is that power which is the power of your subconscious mind. Consciously, we all are living. We get tired. We have a very hectic day and then we sleep. But subconscious is continuously awake. If you and me are very powerful, then it is very easy to fulfill your purpose. Whereas the subconscious mind can do anything and everything. Lot more, it can achieve anything. Lot more, it can even damage anything. For example, it is your mind who is damaging you not to do something. Is that right? That's an experience. So I believe empowering the mind is the most important prerequisite or the requisite to a meaningful life. Second, Anant, I want you to think in a little different direction. When we call it mental health, what is mental health? We all have a mind, we all are breathing, we all are living. Okay, mental health is an attitude, and most of the times this attitude misses because of our experiences, our the traumas that we face, or the beliefs that you and me are carrying. We have a particular kind of childhood that we are living. So mental health is dependent on our experiences. The second prerequisite, what I feel, is that we must have good and positive experiences to make a positive mind. Does that answer you?
Yeah, ma'am, I have a doubt in this. How we can control or manage our subconscious mind in such a way that you told that purpose is required. So what things or what technique or what is the road plan for a person to get to and find what is the purpose of his life?
That's a
Is or her life?
brilliant question, Anant, because most of us, I must say 99% of we humans do not even know why we are living.
Hmm.
So your question is, how do we know what is the purpose? Again, since I work with the mind, I work with metaphors also. So I believe an example is one of the biggest way to get you there. Imagine, Anant, you are traveling at Leh Ladakh and you're driving across the mountains. You do not know what's going to come ahead, and there's fog there. Okay, will you stop there?
No,
No. Why no?
because I know that as I move, fog will go.
Absolutely. So you know, and you have decided, I want to reach the destination, so movement is extremely important. Second, how much of fog will come, how much won't come, when will that clarity come? Do you really know about it?
No.
No, we don't know about it. So how do we find the purpose? The purpose can only be found when you're living every moment aware. An aware moment and an unaware moment is very different. You have to, or we have to, or I do that on a daily basis. I ask myself, am I aware of this or I'm unaware? So when you're aware that you're going to reach, the fog will keep moving off. And there's always a time, like we've read so many books, we know about so many people who are high end achievers, that there was a point of time when they just understood that this is what I'm supposed to do. Friends, I must share this with you, that there was a point in my life where I just understood it very clear, that I am going to work on the mental health of not one but millions.
Can you share the
That's my,
moment
oh,
with all?
wonderful, wonderful. I would definitely love to share this. So there was a moment where when I would look at people who used to suffer from mental health, I was undergoing a little medical issues, a few medical issues, and those medical issues, the doctors would say there is an underlying stress. That is the most commonest. That the doctors say that, Shilpa, you need to remove the stress out of your body, and that's how you will get healthy. I couldn't understand the meaning of remove the stress. I used to think I'm not under any stress.
Hmm.
There is no stress. So now then I understood, after some long time of awareness, meditation, I would practice Reiki. Then, since that is 30 years back, that time I understood that stress is not something that we can see from top. Stress is an underlying stress. When I was working on my underlying stress by deep awareness, by reflection on what I'm thinking, why I'm thinking, I realized that we have immense power.
Okay.
Okay. Then I saw a few things on the television. That's how we just snap those figures, those images come to us. What I saw, a person bending a spoon with his teeth, and that he said, I will just do it in 2 seconds because I have the power. So it's like he just took the spoon and he bent it, and like it was a miracle for everybody. Second, I saw somebody pulling a whole huge crane just with his teeth. There was a single rope which was attached to the crane and he's pulling it. And then I thought, Shilpa, how is it possible that the biggest of physical acts can be done just using the mind? That, Anant, that moment, it suddenly clicked that the power is inside, it's not outside.
Can you share one example where you used some technique or uh, yeah, like Reiki? Firstly, I want to ask what is Reiki exactly
Okay.
and what happened when you used it?
Okay, so Reiki is something that it's healing. It's an act of healing which is done through giving, passing on, or invoking vibrations from the universe using the palms. That's how we bless. So Re means the universal energy, and Ki means the prana shakti which is inside our body.
Okay.
So Reiki is a connection between the universal energy and the prana shakti, and when we connect the two, that means the universal flow starts flowing inside the human chakra system, the 7 chakra system. So I learnt about it, I started applying it, I started cleansing my chakras. So my
Okay.
issues were related to my hara chakra and my root chakra. So I started cleansing my chakras through my thoughts, through the Reiki practice. That's how the healing practice is done.
So is chakra
And
management and Reiki same? Sorry for that.
definitely, Reiki, all kind of healing works on the chakra which are the epicenters of our energy.
Oh.
Okay, the spine is one of the biggest holders of energy, the spine, and the 7 chakras are inserted. They are discs which are in the middle of the spine. So working on the chakras and doing healing is one of the same in different terms. So when I started doing that, Anant, I realized that I can treat my issues even without medicines.
Okay.
And my doctors were amazed that how did you do it? So I treated myself, I healed myself. Through that process, it realized it's not just this, it's much more. And I started exploring. I explored within the 7 bodies, which is very beautiful. Our physical body is just like the cover on the gift. The gift is inside. The physical body is just like the gift wrap. So it's more than the physical body. Then I started learning about the mind. I understood the mind is also not enough. The mind also holds certain energies. That's why we pray every morning. That's why we do certain kind of actions to give us energy. Then I understood it's not just the energy body. It is a deep thought body, which is the 4th body. Then further when I explored, I understood there is a larger cause behind it. I'm born for something. The universe is something else. We
So,
must understand.
sorry for interrupting. How did you realize these all things, that from mind to subconscious mind, and how they carry different energies? What was the method you follow?
Okay, so again, I will bring back what I said is awareness. One is learning about it, doing it from a from a proper structured course. As I say, is learn it from the master. To be a master, you have to learn it from the master. Second, as I learned, as I read, because I always say alchemy, which is nature. Nature doesn't speak. Mountains will not come and speak to you.
Huh.
But how will you understand mountains?
By
Rain will
exploring
never
it,
come and speak to you. But how will you understand rain? By
feeling,
going there and
going there.
feeling it. So
Yeah.
that's how I learned. To answer your question is, I started immersing myself into
Nature.
the nature, into the chakras, into, and when I started reading, started getting more aware, automatically the knowledge started coming out.
So how can a person immerse themselves into chakra?
So the best way is to put your practice. First is learn a practice. Second is to relentlessly do not stop. Just keep practicing it so that that system sets inside you. The mind
Habit.
is actually, which is called a habit, which is called alignment to the practice. Then when you get aligned, automatically there is an awakening. Two things. One, my treatment started happening. So I became more healthy. I did not need medicines as often, which I used to take antibiotics more than 15 days in a month. I was on antibiotics.
Ma'am, what problem did you have, if you don't
So,
mind?
yeah, definitely. This was a deep urinary tract infection, which I had, and cause not known. I didn't understand what it was. And then I was on antibiotics because that was the only way to treat myself. That when the infection comes, you just have to. So that made me so low. Now I understand that the root chakra was regressing, my power was going down, I was feeling low. And then my treatment happened by doing this. And secondly, I started immersing myself into this subject. And Anant, from then, I don't know, I haven't touch wood stopped till now, that I am constantly learning, I'm constantly treating, I'm constantly healing people.
Yeah.
And the purpose of my life unfolded is to make mind a powerhouse.
Wow. Ma'am, I have more questions into this. What are some practices, as you mentioned, of balancing and healing yourself?
Okay, so
Exact practices.
just like how, friends, I want, and Anant, I want you to understand this is just like how we have a daily routine, right?
Yeah.
You sleep, you get up, you eat, you bathe, you meet people, you work, right? You enjoy, you entertain, you relax, right? This is a routine. You travel. Is there somebody who's not been mobile for more than a year? Not possible.
No.
Somewhere you will go. So, just like how this is a lifestyle of living, similarly, what I believe is we must have a lifestyle of the mind also, which I was just telling somebody today, is the mind should follow a routine. That is, when you
Acha.
get up, bring yourself in contact with the sun, which can be in your imagination, which can be in your visualization, or you actually get out into the sun. Bring yourself into a positive mindset. That's how the whole story of gratification, and there are so many techniques that worldwide they are common. Many people, many coaches, many life coaches, many healers, they're all teaching us gratification, thankfulness, first day in the morning. Then comes, just like how I have a bath,
Hmm.
my mind also must have a bath. If I will carry all the trash from the last day, from the last month, from the last year, or from
Hmm.
the last phase of my life, or from the last experience of my life, all the trash will keep accompanying me for the
So
whole.
how will you clean
So,
it?
mind cleansing, that is one, clearing your mind. So, I put this into three simple words, Anant: clean, clear, and positive. The mind is clean. So, a clean mind is like how now I'm talking. I'm absolutely clean in my mind. There is nothing else that's coming. Okay. So, if it's clean, then I will be able to deliver clean. Second, clear. Clear mind is a mind without confusions, where you focus on one.
Hmm.
So you said, how I can do it? I can make my mind clear by focusing on one thing at a time. For example, if I'm talking to you or giving this recording at the podcast,
Hmm.
and suddenly something else also I start doing, I will deviate from my subject. So I put one thing on the focus, that is a clear mind. The third comes a positive mind. The whole positive and negative word just comes from our experiences. For you, white is positive. For me, green is positive. Is
Hmm.
that right?
Yeah.
Correct. For somebody, the night is very positive and happening because he's a party animal. For somebody, the morning is very positive because he has to pray. His God gets up in the temple. So, positive and negative both come from our experiences. So, how to have a positive mind? You need to work on your experiences continuously. That is self talk.
Okay.
Neuro-linguistic programming wonderfully teaches about self talk, and when I self talk to myself, my day or my experience becomes positive. So, three parts: clean, clear, and positive.
Ma'am, what can you go in depth of neuro-linguistic programming?
Sure.
What happens exactly and how a person practices it?
Wonderful. I love this science because I have seen it working beautifully. NLP, which is Neuro Linguistic Programming. Neuro is our neurology, the mindset that we carry. Linguistic is language, that which we speak outside or to ourselves. Nobody is silent, we are always talking. Third is programming. Programming is like a software which is running on its own,
Hmm.
which I call is like a pattern. So, what neuro linguistic programming actually teaches, or what it is a mind science. A mind science where language is the tool. Language is the medium to bring the attitude to the mind. Language is a medium for self analysis, or we may say it's like psychoanalysis. And language is a tool to empower the disturbed subconscious mind.
Can you give an example for this?
So, I may give an example of a language pattern which is very beautiful, and I think all of you must have faced this. So, you friends go to a departmental store. So Anant, everybody, folks, you must have experienced this. So you go to a departmental store,
Yeah.
right? You pick up the product of your choice, And when the salesperson sees that you're a little dicey, that you're not going to buy it, or you're going to buy it, or whatever, he's watching you, undecisive, right? Okay. And the salesperson will come and tell you, so how are you going to pay?
Hmm. Oh,
So what does that do? That's a language pattern that instills into your mind,
that we have to buy it.
then you have to buy it. So if you're on the decision of not buying it, suddenly you change and say, wait, I'm just thinking. And then you think something and then you actually buy it. So are you going to pay by cash or check? This is called a presupposition. Neuro-linguistic programming says that I presuppose that you're going to do it, which is a target.
Hmm.
So whenever the mind doesn't do it, or example, I use this example, is getting up early in the morning. Teens find a lot of issues to get up early in the morning. So then I put up the question to them suddenly is, Acha, so are you going to go on a walk in the morning, or are you going to have a cup of coffee? What is your choice? And then they say, okay, I'll have coffee.
Hmm.
That means decided, I'm going to get up early.
Ah.
Did you get that? So this is called a language pattern. That language pattern shifts the subconscious mind. I hope that
Nice.
has answered.
Yeah, it's a very new learning for me, and I think so it's for many of the viewers who will be seeing this.
Wonderful.
How, next question is, ma'am, how can we rewire our brains and subconscious mind, and what are the benefits of it?
Okay, great question, Anant. Rewire. So I say, yesterday there was a television set in my room and the TV just got spoiled. I don't know what happened and I couldn't figure out. I know very well on how to manage the television, but I couldn't figure out. And suddenly I had to think and I called somebody and say, please come brother, come and see what happened.
Hmm.
Most of the times we really don't know what happens to our mind. That is, the wiring or the patterning of our mind is so predominant that we don't know what's happening. So rewiring means to cut the cords with the old pathways that the brain has been thinking, or the old electrical impulses, or that reach, or we may say the neurons, how they work, and that old electrons, they get cut, or the charge to that cuts, and we rewire it.
So how can it be done?
In short, it's a new thinking. How that can be done? So NLP has beautiful techniques like Swish. NLP has techniques like re-anchoring, and these techniques actually help the mind to leave the old and accept the new, which is called rewiring.
Okay. Ma'am, can you go in detail what is Swish and the other techniques?
Sure. So the mind is made up of thoughts. That's what we've learned, right,
Yeah.
Anant? So can you tell me what is a thought?
Thought is a communication or a medium of communicating something.
Thought is a medium
the
of
first thing
Hmm.
which comes before we communicate it verbally, it is in our mind.
So we've
That is
learned
thought.
that first it's the thought, then it's the action, and then it's the
Yeah.
words.
Hmm.
Correct? That's what we learned. But still, I want you viewers to think a little more. What is a thought? What is actually a thought? Like how we say, this material, cloth, makes my garment. If thoughts make my mind, do I really know what is the thought?
Yeah.
What is the thought?
How is my mind? That would be the thought.
So, if my mind is negative,
My thoughts are mainly negative.
my thoughts are all negative? All negative?
No, not all.
Correct? Because my garment may damage from one area, not the whole garment.
Hmm.
Correct? So, what are thoughts? So, thoughts are a pool of signals that are going to my brain. Correct? So, our mind is made up of thoughts, and how we can decipher, which I call is we can understand our thoughts, is through images. Right? So you get up, or you're meeting me, an image that comes. Tomorrow you will remember how we did this video shoot, how we did this podcast. That's an image. Right? So thoughts are actually images. Now how Swish works is these images get stuck into my subconscious mind.
Hmm.
For example, I was in a hospital 5 years back, and the pain that I had gets stuck into my mind.
Okay. Huh.
So, what Swish does is Swish clears the old images. Okay, step A. Step B, when we clear the old images, the area becomes empty.
Okay.
That's why if I explain or counsel somebody today, second day that person will come and say, sorry, I forgot. Again, my mind is back on that same place. That is, when there is an empty area, our mind will fill it. Fill it with what? Fill it with images. Fill it with thoughts. Back again. So, Swish step B does the clearing, emptying of the mind. And step 3 is to put a new scene. Now, this new scene can exactly be like the Bollywood movie scene. Okay, so I give you an example, viewers, to explain this. Somebody is having a relationship issue. Every day, the wife and husband are fighting. So that's a scene which is there in the mind. Now, I will say something to her and she will fight. So this is scene 1. Scene 2 is the mind is never forgetting it. So he says that when I'm in office, I remember my wife's tone. When I'm outside and I want to talk to her over a call or a loving message, I remember her angry face. So that is what is there in the experience. That needs to be cleared. So step B, Swish will clear that. Clean that image. That it's no longer there. There's a technique how you do. It's a proper process, which I don't think I'll be able to do it right now, but it clears it using language. Everything is using language. Remember, there's no tool. You're not holding something and doing.
Means you will question the patient.
Question and command. The mind understands, commands. Like I'm talking to you, you are listening and you're commanding your mind, you're understanding. Right? If I have to pick up this bottle, I will listen to my command. So, second point B is clear it. And point C, I was just on that the Bollywood movie scene that we two are sitting on a beach side and we are talking nicely and beautifully and it's very amicable. That new scene will be inserted into the mind. So, this, Anant, is called mental surgery.
Acha.
Okay, where through the method of Swish, the experiences are changed and the new comes into the mind, which then the mind absorbs and then becomes positive.
Nice. What was the second technique which you mentioned? So
the first technique that I mentioned was the first one was presupposition.
Acha, presupposition.
Language pattern, and the second Swish that I put up.
Presupposition. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Presupposition. How does it?
So presupposition means whenever you want to reach to a target, you will presuppose that it's gone well. For example, I'm giving an interview and if I have confidence issues, so before coming to this interview, I will presuppose that I'm doing it very well. This has reached to so many viewers or whatever you may say, or I'm very confident, or my viewers are learning a lot, or anything. So presupposition is done. It's said to the mind before the act is done, so that you know that it's going to be.
Supposing that the act has been done and good results have been came.
Absolutely. So presuppose, the word itself says supposing something before the moment.
This also with the language, that continuously telling, like affirming yourself.
Absolutely.
That everything I wanted to do has been done and I've done it very great. Am I right?
Absolutely. Super Anant.
Okay. Ma'am, anything more would you like to share to the viewers for achieving a more fulfilling life?
So one, as I said, is empower yourself. You must be powerful. You must know what your mind thinks and how it thinks. Like how you have a Skoda but you don't know how to drive it. You have a Mercedes but you don't know how to drive it. So you have a mind, you must know how to drive it. Okay. So it's very important, and I put this to everybody in my awareness sessions, my training sessions, that know your mind, know yourself, know how you think, know which element you are of, know which personality you are, know what you would like, know what you wouldn't like, which comes from reflection, which comes from viewing, which comes from understanding through sessions, or which comes from discussions like this, like how we are doing. So awareness, know yourself so that you can drive your car well.
Okay. If the person has got the self awareness that this is the weak point, how can the person change that aspect of his life into the good aspect that the person desires?
Okay, so one tool is necessary. You're a carpenter. I tell you, make a beautiful furniture out of this. I
Hmm.
give you all the resources, but then I forget to give you the hammer and the nails, and I forget to give you the tools required.
Hmm.
You will not be able to do it. So, the mind requires certain tools. You must know these tools. It is then only that you will be able to apply to get the results.
Tools such as chakra management, NLP, and self awareness.
Exactly. And there are a lot of tools, a lot of sciences that are working on the mind, which sciences have a lot of tools. You must learn them. You must learn them, master them, practice them, and then have the fun.
So, how much time it would take for a person to practice and implement things and get their desired goals?
So I always say his mind is infinite. It's said everything can be mapped, but the human mind cannot be mapped, because the human mind has infinite, unlimited potential or deep hidden secrets. Okay, for example, a small kid, you never know what he's going to be when he's big. You never know how much exposure he shall get and when he shall get it. You never know what research or what potential he may show out to the world. Nobody will ever know. So the mind is just like a seed that germinates. So I come to the answer to your question is, by giving it the right soil, the right environment, the right training, the right experiences, it unfolds. How much time it will take, it all depends on the potential of the mind. It's just like a click.
Yeah, while listening this, I got a question in mind that many people overthink a lot.
Yes.
So, and it has been a great source for mental health issues.
Hmm.
How can a person stop overthinking and freely enjoy his or her life?
Beautiful question. Overthinking and stress is one of the most commonest things that I encounter on a daily basis.
Hmm.
And overthinking, I explain it in very simple words and people laugh at it, is overthinking is like driving your car at extra speed. It's just the same. How do I explain this? Is you're taking your car is your device or a tool or an equipment, you may say, or a vehicle that takes you from destination A to B.
Hmm.
Right? If you drive it properly, it takes you well, and then you park it, then you're going for your meeting or for your social affair or whatever it is. Overthinking is when you start speeding or overutilizing the mind, that the car takes the speed and then it becomes uncontrolled. You don't know where the speed breaker is coming, you don't know who's coming in front, you may just crash down anywhere, and god knows what, which is called the damage that happens. So overthinking can be reduced by speed. The speeding should be lessened down, the speed of the mind should be lessened down, and that's the technique I use in my sessions, is to make the mind calm.
How it happens?
The thoughts, the speed of the thoughts is very high. A person who will overthink will be blinking the eyes more often. A person who will be overthinking will keep looking from here to there more often. And that's how people, when they don't sleep and they overthink, the whole night they're doing this. They look at their walls and their curtains and then their lights and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh,
So,
is it a rumor that if you blink more, you will get more creative?
I don't think so.
It's
I don't
don't.
think so. Blink more, which is called random eye movement.
Yeah.
Is random eye movement. Twice we do it. One, when you're getting calm inside the mind, that's how I do when I hypnotize people. And second is when you're in a problem, random movement. Suddenly something happens, I will start thinking, seeing here to there, I will start blinking more. Whenever the subconscious mind comes under a problem, there is random eye movement.
So, is hypnotizing, hypnotherapy?
Yes,
Are you referring to?
hypnotherapy is a science where we hypnotize, or a clinical hypnotherapist hypnotizes the mind, takes the mind into the subconscious, takes the conscious mind, regresses it down, silences down, and takes the person into the subconscious mind
For?
for the purpose of healing, for the purpose of treatment, for the purpose of making the person positive, and for the purpose of deleting all the faulty experiences and traumas.
Okay.
It's a beautiful science that works on removing the traumas, cleansing the mind, changing attitudes, changing habits, breaking the blocks. It's a beautiful science. Also, I have seen so many patients or my friends who have taken regression sessions. They find their purpose through this process. They find their life purpose. So it's beautiful.
Hmm. Ma'am, how can a person, many people think that if they're physically well, they think that they are healthy and everything's going nice, but they don't know that sometimes they have stress a lot and they cannot recognize it until a big disease is discovered in them, or some or another thing, experiences are not going well, and self awareness the person does not have.
Hmm.
So what would you tell that person?
So, actually, friends, I don't know if you've heard this, or it's very commonly said that dis-ease, dis-ease,
Hmm.
disease means not being easy.
Okay.
If you split the word, it is not being easy. For example, somebody suffering from a lung disease is not easy because the emotion of suffocation has come through a long period of time. So you name the body part or name the organ, Anant, I can tell you what is the emotion related to it. Kidney, pressure. Heart, love or forgiveness. Lung, freedom.
Okay.
Correct? Knees, self respect, ego or self esteem. Shoulders, responsibility. So if there's a backache, the middle shoulder, the middle back, then there's a different emotion. You name it and you have it. It is so beautiful.
Means if a person has some health problem, it is subconscious in a deep level integrated with some disease.
Absolutely. The person is not easy somewhere. Easy with what? Easy with emotions.
Okay.
So, friends, you must know this. Paralysis. Paralysis happens because for a long period of time, the person remains uncontrolled, cannot control the environment. There are men who are not able to earn post 30, 35, 40 long periods, and then suddenly at age 50, 55, they get paralysis.
Hmm.
So, long period of emotions which goes inside the body, sets inside the body, as you correctly said, makes the body uncomfortable and comes out in the form of a disease. A disease which is diagnosed today has 80% of the roots inside. So there are the people do state this. The doctors also state this, that if a disease is diagnosed today, more than 5 to 7 years before, it was already inside the body.
So how can a person live a healthy, wealthy life so that they are safe from diseases, mental diseases, disorders, and live a very smooth, happy, free flowing, and loving life,
Wonderful,
which everyone
beautiful
desires?
question, which you and me, everybody should practice. And the answer to that is have a strong mind, have a powerful mind, have a clean mind on a daily basis. See, friends, we all get anger inside the system. We don't want to be angry, but there are some things happening. I become angry.
Hmm.
I become anxious. I become greedy. Correct? I have lust. I want a lot of things. There are possessions that are coming. So, friends, these emotions are bound to come inside us. Not that we will ever be free of it, but regularly, if I clean my mind, remove anger, if I have an ill thought for you and I cleanse it. So, clean mind, a healthy mind, a positive mind, a clear mind. That is the best way to keep yourself happy.
Ma'am, self talk. In self talk, how does a person practice self talk? in a right way?
Okay, so actually, we are all talking to ourselves. Somebody just came and told me the other day, a week back, saying that, "Ma'am, मुझे लग रहा है मैं पागल हो गया हूँ." So I said, "How does that make you feel you so?" So he said, "Because मैं अपने आप से ही बातें कर रहा हूँ."
Hmm.
So I said, "Who doesn't talk to your own self? We all talk to our own selves. You have to run a race, you will tell yourself, come on, Shilpa, run. You will have to do some work or get up and go to school, Anant, or you want to do some work, you'll say, get up and go. People running factories, high-end achievers, every single day they are talking to themselves. So, what is self-talk? Self-talk is a reinforcing command to your own mind.
Okay.
Like you're your own coach, you're your own student.
Hmm.
You are your own teacher, you're your own student. Right? You are your own master and you are your own slave. Right? So in my own mind, I have a master and I have a slave. So self-talk is a command that we give on a daily or a regular basis to our own self. And how you can do that self-talk. I think we are already doing it. That answers it. But how you can do it
Right
well
way.
or you can direct it to a target is work like a master and a slave. I always give this example. A lion in the jungle, a lion in the sanctuary, and a lion in a cage. What is the difference, Anant?
Lion in a jungle is very free.
Brilliant.
Lion in a cage is the quite opposite of the same.
Correct.
And the middle one,
Sanctuary.
sanctuary.
Sanctuary is a closed space like a jungle, but it has a boundary.
Yeah, so the lion is moving, but he is not full. He's not doing worth to his own potential.
Right.
I would
So how
say.
I put this? A lion in a cage is suffocated and he doesn't become a lion. He becomes like a rat.
Rat. Cat.
Correct? A lion in a jungle doesn't know where to go, so he will just go and kill people.
Hmm.
And a lion in a sanctuary has a boundary, but he is free. He's doing what he wants to,
Yeah.
keeping his character, keeping his poise intact. So, how to do self-talk? Like a master and a slave with a very well-maintained boundary. That's how we all must do, friends. Every day, get up saying, this is my boundary, this I'm wanting to do, this is my goal, this is my target. Talk to yourself, command yourself. And that's how you achieve your results.
Yeah. Nice talking to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for this wonderful session. And thank you for your valuable time. You spend your time from counseling sessions to come here and have a podcast with me and all audience seeing this. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Anant.
for
And
your
I end
knowledge.
all this with a warm thanks to all my viewers, my audience who have been listening to me, and also to Anant. And I wish you all the very success
Thank you, ma'am.
for a meaningful and a purposeful life. Thank you. Signing off, Shilpa Agarwal.